Hello and welcome back to Fighting Fiction. I want to start out this video with some scripture because I believe that's really important. And the scripture is one that I've had in my heart lately. It's from Romans chapter 3 verse 4. It says, "Let God be true and every human being a liar, as it is written, so that you may be proved right when you speak and prevail when you judge." Okay, that's very important for us Christians, and we kind of overlook that and put a lot of faith in what the world and scientists and all these people are telling us because it seems very wise, and it seems wise to almost everybody in the world. And when you start finding truth, you will find that you really sound like a crazy person to the people of this world. Okay, the next verse is 1 Corinthians 3:19. It says, "For the wisdom of this world is foolishness in God's sight. As it is written, he catches the wise in their craftiness." And there are some crafty people in this world who have kind of pulled the blanket over all of our eyes and really made, it's not really their fault that we have been partaking in false teachings without realizing it. We feel like we've been proven that the Bible's not true in some ways by science, and we've almost everybody I know has been guilty, even Christians included, of believing what scientists and NASA and other people have said, and they just feel like there's people out there in this world that are so much wiser than them that they just need to trust them. So I'm going to say some things in this video that seem really dumb to people who have grown up and have full of the wisdom of this world, but I just want to give you some food for thought. Okay. Now, facts to consider before we discuss the Van Allen belts is that the moon is said to be 238,900 miles from Earth, and we currently are told we can't go to deep space because of the Van Allen belt. That is essentially a blanket of deadly radiation that surrounds the Earth. Okay, now the Van Allen belt is said to begin at 600 miles. This is an important number. In just a minute, you'll see why. And the astronauts that went to the moon, when they were asked about the Van Allen belts, they said it didn't affect us because we weren't told about them. And so that was the funny thing, that a lot of people who are researching into the hoaxes of NASA are realizing that these people are kind of getting caught in their lies by people who have the wisdom that is not of this world, and these people are miserable people. They're not living happy lives where they are these honorable heroes. They are living in lies and deceit, and it's really a sad way to live. Now, the title of this video about the Van Allen belts being a cover-up for the firmament makes more sense when you understand that the Hebrew definition of the firmament states that it's an extended surface or a solid expanse as if beaten out. And there's a lot of people who are actually seeing that this may be why we can't go to deep space, because there is a firmament, and it says in Genesis it separates the waters in heaven from the waters on earth, and then God opens the windows of heaven during the flood, and this water comes out, and there's a lot of things that start making sense when you realize that firmament might be solid, okay, and the stars are placed inside the firmament, okay. Lots of things that you look at differently when you start seeing this stuff, okay. Now, here's a pretty good image I found of the firmament, the Van Allen belts of radiation, and we are told that we just can't quite go to space or deep space, and that all we can do is low Earth orbit, and because of this Van Allen belt of radiation. And if you don't believe me, I'll pull up a little video right here. Just watch this clip real quick.
We are headed 3,600 miles above Earth, 15 times higher from the planet than the International Space Station. As we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation. Radiation like this could harm the guidance systems, onboard computers, or other electronics on Orion. Naturally, we have to pass through this danger zone twice, once up and once back.
Okay, so very extremely dangerous, and it's really, really far away from Earth, way higher than the International Space Station is right now. And the funny thing is, I always just thought, I had this thought in the back of my mind of how on earth did they discover radiation, because we have to have a Geiger counter here on Earth to find it. If you get near a cell tower, those things go off like crazy. There's deadly radiation around these cell towers, and these things are popping up everywhere. Well, I thought, you can't look at them and see it. How on earth did this Van Allen guy discover them? And as I mentioned in my last video, the new Flat Earth Proofs video, that they used a balloon, like a high altitude balloon, and you guys, you know how high they go if you've been researching this stuff. They go about 20 miles up. Okay, now let's look at, let's see what here. Where is the International Space Station flying? It's in low Earth orbit, so you can see. Let me get a, if I can scribble on this. Here is a example I'm circling right here of where the International Space Station flies in low Earth orbit. So it's protected because it's not quite in the Van Allen belt of radiation. And this is 230 miles. International Space Station, 230 miles. Okay, so the highest ever balloon, if it was going to find the Van Allen belts with a Geiger counter, and if it was going to go up and find them, it would have to fly up higher than 230 miles, people. And guess what? The highest balloon ever was 32 miles. Wheels turning a little bit. How did this balloon go up and detect these Van Allen belts? You won't find any answers. They just hope that the sheeple of this world, the people who have the wisdom of this earth, will see pictures like this and go, wow, look at this picture. Got to be true, because it's a picture in a book or on the internet. Okay, like where you're watching this video now. Don't believe me, guys, but listen to these thoughts. These are some thoughts I have. I'm not telling you they're facts like the people that draw these pictures are, okay, and the people that discovered the Van Allen belts of radiation. Now, let's look and see why, you know, every time I look at a model, it kind of looks like they've cut a donut in half when you look at the Van Allen belts of radiation. So if we can't get past them where it's at over here, why don't we go over here above the northern or North America, just keep going straight up past Canada and exit the Earth right here on this donut hole. Then we could go to deep space. Why don't we do that? Or let's go down here below us, come out the bottom of the Earth, right out the bottom, and there you go. That's how you get past the Van Allen belt. Okay, maybe that's why rockets seem to go in that rainbow shape when they fly, because they're trying to go to those parts of the Earth to get out. Okay, so sorry for the sarcasm, but this stuff is foolishness to me, even though it's wisdom and all that stuff to the people of this world. Now, the firmament could be what they're covering up with this Van Allen belt nonsense, okay, because like we've already said, they couldn't have discovered it with a balloon. So now it's strictly based on their, whoopsie, sorry about that, strictly based on their visual sight so that they can look up and see radiation. That's the only other way to discover it if what they're telling us isn't true. Or, okay, so now the moon, does anybody see the moon and how far it is away? You probably don't, but like I said before, the moon, and I'll click here, back to it, is 238,900 miles away, where we have supposedly gone, and the outer belt of the Van Allen belt is 12,000 miles away, so not even close to the moon. So according to NASA, we passed through all of these to get to the moon, and nobody died, but we can't get through it now because I think I heard one of them say that we had the technology, but we threw it away after the space missions, and it's too expensive to build back or too confusing. They're really just kind of like nervously talking and not really making a lot of sense. Okay, so somebody had to have written down what the spacecrafts were made out of back then somewhere. Surely we know, and we can duplicate that. It's a joke. So anyways, here's another picture. Let me show you another one. Looks about the same. and they somehow know how far out they go as well. So the balloons must have went pretty far, 12,000 miles to feel that radiation. And by the way, when I was looking this up, it says that the radiation was measuring at 0, and they said that that's probably where it's off the charts. So a reading of 0, and you interpret that as it just being off the charts. Is that good science? I don't know, you tell me. Okay, but this is just some food for thought. If you guys are researching this, that's why you're here, and just wanted to run that by you. So no way they could have discovered this with a balloon. Okay, the proof is right here in the pictures they give you, and low Earth orbit, which is 230 miles. There's no way. Okay, so just a quick little video. Don't want to get too long, but just remember, guys, when you're talking to people about this stuff, don't go at them like a crazy person, because to them, you're the crazy person, and they are full of wisdom that they have been taught from people like NASA, who continually lie. Okay, so good luck on your journeys to keep finding truth. Again, don't get caught up in the little details. Spend time with God. This stuff's really, it's just to build your faith. When you find truth, let it build your faith. When you find the truth about creation and the fact that the Bible is really 100% real, and let that kind of work to build miracles in your life and miracles around you, and see some healings and some good things, so that we can glorify God. That's really what finding truth is all about. If you can point somebody in the right direction, like if they're an atheist and they just like evolution, Big Bang type mentality, show them the proofs that NASA's lying. Okay, lots of tons of proof out there. They just need to, you just kind of gotta break them in lightly. Okay, but anyways, thanks guys, and God bless. Signing out.